Built wild and unlike anything else that you'll see on the road. And off it, really. This is the 2025 Ford Bronco. It is a purpose-built off-road machine that will surely go down in history as an enthusiast's favorite. Now, what we get is the Outer Banks variant, and the Philippine spec gets the Sasquatch package as standard, which basically means this thing is loaded with 4x4 technology, okay? Now, that technology and all of it is actually great on this vehicle. It doesn't make it look like a poser, whereas I look like an idiot, Jack. Can I? Let's dive right into its price. Now, if you've paid attention to overseas publications, you'll know that the Bronco is hailed, especially stateside, for being a reasonably priced off-roader. But in the Philippines, we do only get one variant, and it's completely maxed out with features, which is really great, and only comes with one engine, which is the EcoBoost V6. And then with all the duties and taxes and no sé qué what that comes with it, when you check the AutoDeal app, available on iOS and Android, and it's absolutely free, please try it, the Bronco comes in at, 4,998,000 Philippine pesos. So yeah, it ain't cheap. So for comparison, its direct rival, the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, comes in at 5,690,000 Philippine pesos. Now, throughout this video, we'll be comparing the Bronco to the Wrangler every now and then. But we'll do a more detailed comparison when we review the latest Wrangler, which we're getting very soon. So subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that. Underneath is a 2.7-liter twin-turbo V6 that produces 330 horses and 555 Nm of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, Jack and I figured that the closer you get to the 5 million Philippine peso mark, the less concerned you are about fuel consumption, which is true. Which is also why Jack and I are both very much concerned about the fuel consumption of this vehicle, because we're not exactly buyers. So in the city, you're doing roughly about 8 kilometers per liter. On the highway, a little bit better at 12.5. But again, if you're a buyer of this vehicle, you're not really concerned about that. You're more like miles per gallon at this point. Just look at it and you'll fall in love. Plenty of cars nowadays have designs that, well, kind of divide opinions. But the classic boxy shape paired with round headlights are hard to get wrong. And the Bronco just does it oh so right. 17-inch beadlock wheels with 35-inch mud-terrain Goodyear tires, same specs as the F-150 Raptor thanks to the Sasquatch package. Ground clearance, 292 millimeters. Weighting depth, 850 millimeters. That's... holy crap, that's my waist. Cargo space. One of the biggest, actually, because you're going to be looking at 630 liters of space. Definitely good enough for a balikbayan box, possibly two. It's very, very useful because it's square. So you use every inch of its height. Also, you're probably wondering why it has a split glass and a door, because this entire top comes off. Not just the roof, but the doors as well. It's sort of like a Girls Gone Wild kind of a thing. Now, I would show you what it looks like because I'm sure everybody's excited about that. But it does take a little elbow grease and a couple of friends. I have neither elbow grease or friends. I've got two tools here with me, but that's about it. There is more cargo space to be had if you were to fold the second row, which you can, 60-40 split, I'll show you right now. You can fit an additional 2 balikbayan boxes here with the backrests down. Fitting them, not a problem. Getting them in might be an issue because from the back, there's no gap, but there is somewhat of a slope. So getting them up here might be an issue. That is Daddy Longlegs' driving position, so it doesn't leave me much room, you'd think, but look, I still have a lot of leg space. Yeah. Headroom is pretty darn good. Okay. Space for 2 passengers, no problems. A third might be an issue because there is a tunnel. Toys back here, there aren't much. You do have your USB charging points, Type A and Type C, a 400-watt plug, which is really great. The controls for your windows are found here in the center, not on the doors themselves, because as I mentioned, the doors do come off. You have a center armrest with 2 cup holders, And then also, if you can call it, the biggest toy back here is, well, I gotta show you. Open sesame. Now, as we mentioned, the roof does come off, and unlike the Wrangler, there isn't a beam in the center, which means you can move from back and forth and back and forth and all around. See? Look, it's amazing. Just be sure to check the forecast before you do any of that. Get into the driver's seat, and you can tell that this being a purpose-built 4x4 off-roader, the interior too does feel purposeful as well. Like, for instance, the buttons that you have to get to immediately, like your locking diff and your turn assist and your drive modes. It's very easy to get to. It's tactile. And it's smart too, because like the buttons on the steering wheel are covered by rubber, so that if you get rained on, or if you get muddy on, or if you're smart enough to take the roof off on a Sunday while it's raining, it's not going to be an issue. We're not saying that we did that. We're just saying maybe Jack did it. Allegedly did it. But that doesn't mean that you don't have tech inside this car. No. Directly in front of you in your instrument cluster, you have a large screen that's colored and an analog speedometer, which I think works really well with the vehicle. You have a large 12-inch touchscreen infotainment system with obviously Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are both wireless. And you also have Ford Sync 4 in there, which works really, really well. Plus, no matter how rugged this vehicle is, you still have a Bang & Olufsen system inside this car, which normally would be on the doors, but since the doors do come off, they're not there anymore. They are here directly in front of you and on the back pillars as well. So no matter how naked or clothed you are inside this car, I didn't mean to say it that way, but you always have music going with you. To continue, you have a charger down here in the form of a Type A and Type C, wireless charger for your phone. You have your gear lever here and your buttons as well for your windows. They operate the windows from here, not on the doors, because obviously the doors do come off themselves. Driving position is very easy to get to, because not just the driver is powered seats, but the passenger as well. And Jack would like to give special mention to Ford, because his seat in the passenger actually goes up and down, not just forward and back. And for a tall person like Jack, he appreciates that.
Thank you.
So getting to my driving position, not going to be an issue, which I want to do right now because I want to take this out on the road. But before we do, please subscribe to our channel, because we create all of these videos for you guys.
We're not actually going on the road first. There's a river we gotta cross.
We cross a river. Yay! Its off-road capabilities will never, ever be in question. But it does not take an expert to realize that we're no expert when it comes to off-roading. Although crossing water like this is always going to be fun. So we're not going to be pushing it to its limits today. No, not at all. Although we did go for a drive where it was a lot of fun off-roading with this vehicle, with Ford, by the way. We have it on a video. The links are somewhere down below. Check it out. And we actually did have a lot of fun on that day. What we do want to talk about is what it's like out on the road, which is basically where you're going to spend about 90-95% of the time. And I got to tell you, the NVH is not so good in here. No. There are some squeaks and rattles inside the car, and the tire noise, most definitely, you can hear it in here, whether you're at high city speeds and most definitely on the highway. Yeah, that's definitely going to really, really creep in. And because this car is, well, basically like shaped like a brick or a board cube, woo, wind noise, yeah, that's gonna come in a lot. But if you think about it, all of those issues basically stems from what makes the car so special. You're talking about the removable roof, the mud tires, the retro styling, all of it. Basically, all of that inevitably compromises the isolation. I mean, without all of those things, the Bronco wouldn't be the Bronco. And we love it. What is surprising about this car is when we take it on the highway, which you will, what's surprising about it is that how well behaved it is. It doesn't sway left to right or have a hard time sticking to its lane because it has an independent suspension. It doesn't have a solid axle like the Jeep does. It's just so much easier, really, compared to the Jeep, to drive this. And I need not remind you that there are two more cylinders inside this vehicle because you're talking about a V6 instead of an inline four. And while the inline four is well and good, there's really nothing like a six-cylinder. Plus, it sounds fantastic. I'm starting to wish I had paddles in this thing. If we were to move on very briefly to the transmission, oddly enough, there's nothing sexy about it. There's nothing grand about it. There's nothing to talk about because you just forget that it's there. Now, that may sound like it's a bad thing. No, but what I'm trying to get at is, you know how when something is good, you just tend to forget that it's there because it just works perfectly? I'm like that silent guy. When we first drove this car, it was not really a controlled environment, but it was an environment that was presented to us by Ford, which was off-road, and it was a lot of fun. But now, in the scary thought of having to meet your hero kind of a thing, it's now time for Jack and I to give our opinion on how it drives when you're on-road. And the truth is, it wasn't scary at all to meet this particular hero because it does drive well. And when you take it off-road, on your own, it really does feel like it's purpose-built. And it's great at what it does. And despite all of the compromises that come with this car, the bottom line, I don't think we've ever said this in a review, but who cares? Because honestly, that's what makes a Bronco the Bronco. Despite its flaws, and really you can't even call it flaws, you have to call it expected compromises. The Bronco's capabilities really do shine out, and its looks are unmatched, and it has a less compromised experience than that of its rival. You get me? Look, this needs to be said. If you're going to purchase this vehicle at its price point, don't expect it to drive like a patrol or an expedition. This is a purpose-built off-road vehicle. And if you have the means to purchase one and the reason to, just do it. It's unbelievably awesome. We feel bad that we're going to let this car go today. We really do. We really do. Wait. Nobody knows we're here. We can just keep it and like survive off the land. We'll hunt for Earl.